y'all doing today? It's a great day today. I have an interesting guest, but let me introduce myself first. I'm Mr. Armand Johnson, better known as Bro.Isreal or Bishop Israel, or Soldier Israel, whatever you want to call me. And I have a special guest today. What's your name, guest?
My name is Richard Law Sr. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I come in to speak to human rights.
All right.
And the book, Something Never Changed.
All right. And so my position is the community conservative. I run a lot of different campaigns, right? So this campaign is a 4D campaign. So what do I mean by that? The fourth dynamic is dealing with humanitarianism, the betterment to survive as a human being. This campaign is dealing with human rights. So me learning his story, it just aligned perfectly. And today we did 2 human rights events with the Latino community. And I'm gonna let him tell you what his experience was.
Well, we went to the first. We set up the tables and we had some shirts and hats and bags, and we shared these shirts and hats and it with them, okay. And it was human right, and a lot of people turned around and they accept it gracefully, and we run into a lot of people, and it was a nice experience.
So I got a good question, and I know a lot of people, if you heard me, I did say the Latin community. So the first event was held by Sadae, which is from Venezuela, and she is somebody who escaped her country for 3 assassination attempts, right? And she was accompanied by her husband, Gerard, right? And they deal with the UN or whatnot. So us being African Americans, right? What was your first take coming in? I mean, you know, you come from the old South, right? Dealing with racism or whatnot. So what was your experience? Like, what was you thinking when you first came in, and then versus after the event?
Well, when we got there, when we set up the tables and all that kind of the tables, and one of the ladies told me, going had some food to the table. You can go and get some, and they was so gracious and loving and wanting to take pictures and just, you know, it was an amazing day.
Right. So I remember when we was talking, you liked the unity, the different Latino communities. Just speak on that. Like, what? Maybe that's something that we can take as, you know, as Black people, because we have Haitians, we have Jamaican, we have different type of Africans. So what? From there, that event is something that we can take to the Black community.
Well, one of the, and it was on a Wednesday, and they were talking about all kind of different things about the ocean and all kind of things. They were trying to work together and to make things possible for the next generation.
Correct.
And we went to that first event, and when we stayed there a good while, while we staying there, and when stayed there 3 or 4 hours, and we left and went to this other event. The other one, the ones who were there came to the next one.
Right.
So on a Wednesday.
Right.
So well, we didn't get the chance to eat lunch like the rest of them did, because
right.
we were trying to work on this thing we're gonna be working on the 12th.
Right. So speaking of the 12th, before we get to the 12th, I want to get into why I chose him for United for Human Rights, or Youth for Human Rights, based on his book. So this book talks about how his human rights was violated, and if we know our human rights, they won't be violated, right? You gotta know. So the point of the campaigns is just to educate people on their human rights. So you wanna speak about this book and what inspired you to create that book?
Well, when the things I went through, I learned a lot when I was going through, and it was something on the inside of me trying to be able to. When I got to a point, I wanted to be able to tell other people about the things I went through.
Right.
You know, and then you look at it's a true story, and nobody in these days and these times don't want to face the truth. They wanna take and cover the truth up. And when you cover the truth up, you know, when you do that, you're not going anywhere.
Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read some of the human rights, right? And then you tell me what you think about it as far as how you feel like your human rights might have been violated, or you're in agreement with it or whatever. So the first human right is, number one, we are all born free and equal. How you feel about that?
Born free and equal. We supposed to be born free and equal, but not in this country.
Correct. I can see why you say that.
Not in this country, because we can go back from way back up into the present time now. You know, a person can go to court, and you have the judge. They could be he'd be blind to a black individual.
All right.
But the white it'd be different.
Right. So I understand what you're saying. So do you think things have gotten better since the time you was aged to now? Do you think things are still the same?
Well, when I was coming up, it was two young guys that would come to our house, and you know, but when you're growing up, things have changed.
Right.
What I'm saying is, and make a long story short, things hadn't changed.
Right.
It hadn't changed with my granddaddy.
Right.
It hadn't changed with my daddy.
Right.
And it hadn't changed with me.
So
why? Because that's why I wrote this book.
Right.
Because I wrote this book 32 years ago, and I still hadn't got justice for what I went through.
Right.
When I had that stroke in '94,
right,
the federal government was involved in it, just like they do now.
Right. So let me tell you something. That brings me to the next human right, which is number 7. We are all equal before the law. What you think about that?
Before the law.
Right.
My name is Law.
That's
Richard
right.
Law. But what I'm saying is, no, not really. Because in this book, I went to the the EEOC.
Right. And before you go, what does that mean, EEOC, for the people out there listening to?
Equal Opportunity for Commission. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So based on what they stand, what is their responsibility to the people?
Enforce the equal rights.
Okay. The fact that they even got to enforce the equal rights lets you know that there's some pushback on equal rights.
Right.
Right? Okay. So in your case and in the book, how did they enforce equal rights for you?
Well, they told me that they was going to investigate it.
Okay.
They did investigate it. Then they told me 30 days, well, they said, well, you need to get, 2 guys was with me at that time. But make a long story short, I didn't go.
Lift your book up. I'm telling you to lift your book up.
Yeah, keep it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't do exactly what they're supposed to do.
Okay. All right.
If they'd have did what they're supposed to do, I probably wouldn't even had the stroke.
All right. Okay. So I'm picking out, just so y'all know out there, I'm picking out, there's 30 rights, and I'm not gonna get into all of them, but I'm picking out the ones that's relevant to his story, which they all are, but I'm picking out the ones that I see that's relevant. So I'm looking at 23, right? That's the right, that workers' rights, right? So in your case, back in your day, how do you feel about workers' rights? And did you feel like, as a worker, did you have any rights?
No.
Okay.
No, why? Why? Because it was still segregated. It was segregated. It was segregated, and when it's segregated,
Right.
a lot of these people feel like they own wherever they were working in.
Now, for my Latino family, explain to them what segregated means, because a lot of this, I'm trying to educate black people. Already know this, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of Latino family, a lot of times they don't know, right, what the black people went through before they got here. So some of those words is good to define them, because we want them to know, you know? So can you explain to the people what is segregation, what it was like to live through segregation?
It means being separated.
Right.
Being separated. When I say being separated, if you go to a doctor, a white doctor, he would have a white person in one room and a black person in the waiting room.
Right.
So that was always separated.
Okay. And with the separation, did we get the same type of doctor, or did we get a worse treatment, or like how did that work? Like, did the black people go and then they got worse, like the hand-me-down type of stuff, or was they getting the same quality of treatment as the white people in your day?
Well,
was the service?
A lot of time they would have a black nurse to deal with the black family.
All right.
And then a white nurse to deal with the white family.
Okay. So let me ask you something. What do you think the point of segregation was? Like, what was the point of that? What do you think?
Slavery.
Okay. Now, is it safe to say, right, that black Americans in this country fought for human rights? Not just our freedom, but anybody that's enjoying freedom in this country, that we shed the blood for that. You want me to read?
Say that again.
I say, is it safe to say that black Americans fought for human rights in this country?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people who come, they don't know that. They see the end result of the drugs and the violence and things that happen, but they don't know that the people before us got hung, shed blood for everybody to come here to work, to get education, and nobody's telling them that.
Blacks didn't have no choice.
Right.
They didn't have no choice. They had to do to survive.
Right. So let's get into a couple of more of these. How was it in segregation for this human right? The right to education. Did we have the right to education back in your day?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
But it did. We had the right, but we would always get the other, say like the white kids' books. We would get it after they get through with it.
Okay, I understand. So we'll get the hand-me-down.
Right.
Okay. All right. So do you think that now we're gonna kind of change the direction, right? So based on your book and what you learned from the human rights, do you think if people knew their human rights and learned from your book, right, the violation of human rights, and then they learn the human rights, would that help society? If everybody knew, especially in the black community, but every community, because we're not about, we're about what's right, and that has no color. But if everybody knew their human rights, would that help the situation?
Yes. It will help if they take and learn and get more understanding and knowledge. It would. But you can't take a book like this here, buy it, and put it on the shelf and say, well, I learn from it.
Right. You gotta read.
You'll have to keep on reading. I've had people buy this book, and they're not diligent enough to finish it.
Okay.
They're not diligent enough to finish it. I had a friend of mine. He's a social worker, and he said he done read the book 2 or 3 times.
Okay. All right. So now we want to talk about the event. This will be at the Mighty Miami, or AKA the Scientology building, which they opened their building up for different foundations to use it for free as a gift to the community. And what I want to tell people in the public is these foundations are not Scientology. They are sponsored by Scientology as a community social betterment, right? Responsibility. So with that being said, this is a minister, right? He's not a Scientologist, but he is a human rights advocate, right? So with that being said, let's talk about this event. Now, how you think this event, what you looking to get out of this event? And let me tell you where it's gonna be. This is the United for Human Rights, Richard Law Sr., right? Some things never change. And this is at the International Human Rights Day. And we want everybody to come and learn human rights and to help make sure what happened to him in this book don't happen to you. So what are you looking to get out of this event?
I'm hoping that somebody could come and sort of take some information in and apply it to better themselves.
Right.
I mean, at one time when I had that stroke in '94,
okay,
I was weak. But at that time when I couldn't talk for several years, but I had to go back to school, going through that, having that stroke and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I hope somebody could come and I could tell them some of the situations I went through to make things better for them.
All right. Okay. So y'all heard it from him, right? You heard it from him first. And we definitely want y'all to be in the house. So I'm gonna repeat it again. It's on December 12th, 7 p.m., Church of Scientology, Miami, 2200 South Dixie Highway. And if you need a number, it's 305-445-7812. Just ask them about the event. We signing off. Richard Law, Brother Johnson, the family behind us. We out. Got any last words you want to say?
And I wanted to tell my nephew and Armand, they really worked to try to make this thing better. Not for just me, for the people who come and try to listen to it. And they brought me down here twice to make this thing better for the community. I just want to tell Kenyatta, Nishaja, my brother.
Peace and blessings.
Sinclair behind the ones and two. And what's the other brother name?
Big B.
And Big
Big
B.
B.
Yeah. No.
That's right. Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
All day, every day. And that's real.
And we out, man. Peace.